What's going on, everyone? You're listening to 99 Yards here with your host, Audibot. And today we have another familiar face on the show. You want to introduce yourself?
Yes, sir. It's OJKnows. Why? Because OJ knows.
Yep.
Happy to
Y'all
be here.
remember him from a prior episode that we did together? We talked about some sports takes that me and him had. And today we got the top 5 Mount Rushmores. Y'all were asking for the top 5 Thursdays to come back. And you know what? I brought it back. Because I know a lot of y'all wanted it. I took away for a long time. So here we go. We brought it back in with OJKnows. So let's start getting into this. Anchor, if you're on Anchor, you got 30-second announcement. If you're not, then if you're on YouTube, we'll get right into it. So let's start off with this. So we're talking about the top 5 NFL Mount Rushmores today. So I got my 5 and you got your 5. Do you want to go with your number 5 first?
I'll let you go with your 5 first. Actually, do I have okay, so can I do it how I want, or do you want to do it from 5 to 1? Do you prefer to do it from 5 to 1?
Oh no, the way I do it is like you say your 5, then I say my 5th place, and then you say your 4th place, and I say my 4th place. That's how I do it.
Gotcha. You go first. Let me actually write this thing down. It's all in my head. I just want to make sure. But let me know. You can still see me, right? By the way, this is going on YouTube, right?
Yeah.
And you still see my video because I moved away. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
Okay. So at number 5 for me, y'all may think I'm being biased, but nah. No. I got the Giants, okay? I have the Giants, and it's for a legitimate reason. We'll be talking about that later, but it's for a legitimate reason. I gotta trust me on this. What do you got, OJ?
Number 5, believe it or not, you said you got the Giants?
Yep.
Oh, I thought we were doing that.
Let me actually say my players. I'll say my players to.
Oh, okay, that's why I thought, because you said the team. Okay, you know what? Yeah. My number 5 is actually Giants too, man.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to be very curious to see if we got the same guy.
Yeah. So at our best quarterback, now you said that he's an overrated player, but I still think he's the best in the franchise, and that's Eli Manning. And then Lawrence Taylor, of course, best defense player of all time. Bill Parcells and Tom Coughlin, 2 of the best coaches of all time. Who do you have in there? I would have put Emlyn Tunnell in there, but it's too old.
So for your team, you have the Giants.
Mm-hmm. And for the 4 players, Eli Manning, Lawrence Taylor, Bill Parcells, and Tom Coughlin.
Interesting. I actually don't think that's a homer pick. And that's essentially, I don't have all the players you have, but that's essentially the team that I have, the Giants. And I have, honestly, Lawrence Taylor, arguably a top 5 player, man. Like, he alone puts those guys.
Top 5?
Yeah, I would say top 5.
Like, top 5 all time? I think he's the best. Like,
you think Lawrence Taylor is the best all time?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what's funny? You're a Tampa Bay Buck fan, right? And you have Derek Brooks, who's also arguably the greatest defensive player of all time.
I'm comfortable with saying that Lawrence Taylor is a top 5 defensive player of all time. I don't know if I'm ready to say he's top 5. Or he's the greatest of all time. I don't know if I could put a non-quarterback as the top greatest of all time. It's just hard.
Oh, I was saying greatest defensive player of all time.
Lawrence Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Top. He's not. I think he's not in the top 5, he's in the top 10 of all time. I meant the greatest defensive player.
I could see that.
Mm-hmm. So you want to move on to number 4?
Yeah, sure.
Did you want to say your 4th, or do you want me to go?
Well, you could go. Go ahead.
All right. So at number 4, some may say it's too low, but I got the Pittsburgh Steelers at number 4.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Who do you have? Oh, and the players I got is Franco Harris, Troy Polamalu, Chuck Noll, and the bust Jerome Bettis.
Chuck Noll. But that's interesting, man. I think you have them a little low. For my number 4, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Oh. And honestly, I think people might think that's a little bit low too. So I have Roger. You got to have Roger. Mm-hmm. Emmitt Smith, to me, overrated. I hate to say it. You know,
Yeah.
Michael Irving. You got to have Michael Irving on there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then honestly, the fourth one was very hard for me, man. And people are not gonna like this, but I kind of have to go with Dion, man. Even because I know he played
Dang.
with
Okay.
49ers as well. But
I personally think he was better with them.
can you have a player in multiple teams?
I guess I mean if they're that
I'm
good,
gonna try
like
not. I'm not gonna duplicate Dion. So that would be my fourth.
I
Dallas.
personally think he was better with the 49ers.
You think so?
Same with Haley, who
Yeah.
also played for the Cowboys, and I feel like not just because I'm a Giants fan again. Y'all may get it messed up and think I'm a Giants fan and putting the Cowboys player. Nah, if you look at their careers, like who was it, George Haley or something like that? Haley, I forgot his first name. But you all know who I'm talking about, right?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, Haley and Sanders. If you look at their career, they did better with the 49ers than they did with the Cowboys. They were still phenomenal players with the Cowboys. They just did better with the 49ers.
Yeah, I mean, it's like to me, Jerry Rice. I feel like Jerry Rice actually did better with Steve Young as opposed to Montana.
Yeah. And it's surprising because Steve Montana was like a running quarterback, which is kind of funny that he actually did better with Steve Montana.
Yeah, exactly.
So number 3, I got the Dolphins, and my 4
Really?
players are yep.
Interesting.
Yeah. They're a very underrated team here, and that's because Don Shula, one of the greatest coaches of all time, Dan
Yeah.
Marino, the best quarterback to not win a Super Bowl, Larry Kazanka. Ooh, yeah, that's beast mode before beast mode.
I mean, yeah, he was awesome, man. If you list him as a fullback, you might say arguably he's the greatest football back of all time. But I know they have him listed as running back and fullback. So
Yeah, I remember like I told you like my favorite position to watch was a fullback. like now it's not as much, but like if you watch highlights of a fullback, it's just pleasing to watch.
oh yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, like him, Mike Allstott, all those players are just great. Then at my 4th player is Jason Taylor, also one of the greatest players of all time, one of the most underrated actually.
Jason Taylor. Jason Taylor. I remember growing up watching Jason Taylor, and I kid you not, when Jason Taylor got to the Dolphins, he was actually the fastest player of the Dolphins. He actually ran the fastest.
Yeah.
Faster than even their receivers, which is saying a lot.
He was fast. He was like fast. Thing is, it's funny because like I was watching something, and it's like there's 2 types of number 99s you see. One of those big guys like the DNs and stuff, and then there's just Jason Taylor, one of those slim, like fast guys wearing number 99 and running around the field.
Yeah, I mean, for a while, number 99 it used to represent excellence, particularly in the defensive end position. Because you remember like Javon Curse. I'm pretty sure. What's his name? He used to play for the Panthers when the Panthers had.
Julius Peppers, right?
Julius Peppers. I'm pretty sure he was number 92. A lot of these guys were number 99, like rushing off of the edge, man. But that's when the NFL, man. You want to talk about defense? Like they had some serious edge rushers. That's way before the Khalil Mack and the hybrid, which I'm not gonna lie. Like I see a lot of people, like content creators, they make a lot of lists with linebackers and stuff like that, and they'll have like Shaq Barrett as a linebacker and stuff. And I mean, it's their list. They could do what they want. I just think it's interesting. But because
you
Shaq Barrett,
had TJ Watt as a defensive end. Yeah, you had TJ Watt as a defensive end, right?
I do have TJ Watt as a defensive end, even though he's listed as a linebacker technically. But if you look at TJ Watt, the majority of his snaps, he's actually lining up on a stance. You know, he's not on. Like sometimes, like these. Well, I'm not gonna stand up. A lot of these also, like Von Miller, I'll give Von Miller props because Von Miller, the way they use him, he's usually not in a stance. He's standing up closer to the edge and he'll rush. But T.J. Watt, man, he gets on the block a lot. Same with Shaq Barrett. He rushes a lot from the edge and he gets on a 3-point stance. So to me, once you do that, but yeah.
I mean, I have T.J. Watt as a linebacker because he is in the.
You're right. He's listed as such.
Yeah, he's in the 3-point stance, but like he also plays a big part in the pass game. Like our defensive ends can't do that. A lot of them, like
most of them cannot. Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah,
so that's the only reason I think he's a pass because you can also play him like in as a middle linebacker sometimes. Like so.
TJ Watt, what makes him so good? He's actually not that big. He's not like a massive. That's how you could have him out of coverage. But that dude, he still sacking and getting a lot of quarterback pressures from the edge, which is impressive. So, yeah.
So let's move on to number 2. Wait, did you say your number 3?
No, we're actually at
my bad.
number 3. I don't think I said my number 3.
Yeah, no, I just before we skip that, let's go to your number 3.
Did you do your number 3 yet?
I did. Okay. I said Dolphins. Yeah, I said Dolphins.
That's right. For my number 3, well, let me ask you, who do you think I have for my number 3?
Oh, I don't know. I really don't know. Probably
I have the Bears, man. And I'll be honest with you, even then I have them a little low when I think about it. But I have the Bears, man. Walter Payton, Dick Butkus, Gale Sayers, and obviously Mike Ditka, one of the arguably top 3 coach. Man, there's a Don Shula. You have a lot of coaches, man. I don't know if he makes top 3, but he's up there. He's top 5 for sure. So that's who I have, man. The Bears and those guys. And if you notice, did you notice? I don't really have any quarterbacks for the Bears, man. That's one thing. I don't think they've ever really had a very good quarterback.
Yeah, nah. They I think Rex Grossman was there, but that's
yeah, listen, man, the minute I found out that Rex Grossman was going to be the quarterback against the Colts in that Super Bowl, I already knew that the Colts were going to win. And they had a nasty defense. Lance Briggs, Urlacher, it was crazy. But, yeah, Rex not going to get it. It's pretty much, I mean, Jay Cutler, I'm trying to think.
Jay Cutler was just a very bad,
have they had a better quarterback than Jay Cutler? I don't think they have, man.
Wow. I just realized. They're very defense-orientated. That's if you look at all the greatest
and they have been for a while, man. So
2 things. They have the greatest defense and then the greatest special teams. They'll have great players returning the ball.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
that's the point. And they draft those positions too, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah. They don't try and convert someone to Devin Hester, I'm pretty sure they drafted him, right? In the late rounds.
Yeah, I think it was in the 4th round they drafted him.
Yeah. So and they knew that he wasn't going to do much on.
And
he was actually
Devin Hester. I made a list of I think fastest running player in all of NFL. I actually have Devin Hester, and a lot of people are like, "Oh man, you have Devin Hester over."
Oh yeah, I duetted that on TikTok. I think I had.
It's really Tyreek, but the thing is, I told people in terms of football speed, just on the field speed. It's different, man. People have to Odell Beckham did not have a crazy 40-yard dash. Actually, when he ran the 40, a lot of people were shocked. It wasn't a crazy time, but on the field, man, Odell has tremendous football speed. It is a different too, and that's the same thing with the DK Metcalf thing that I said. Yeah, he's very strong, but he doesn't translate as well as with Julio, because I'm pretty sure that DK Metcalf will outbench Julio and outperform it in the weight room. But yeah,
I actually had what's the name? The Cowboys player. I just totally forgot his name. The guy who played in what?
Rocket Ishmael.
No. The Cowboys player who was also in the Olympics. I just totally forgot his name.
Newman?
What?
Was it Newman?
No, it was an old player. I just totally forgot his name. He was fast. Actually, you mentioned him.
I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
He was a cornerback. Corner?
Okay.
Yeah, I just totally forgot his name. You actually mentioned him?
It might have been Newman, bro. Terrence Newman?
No. Speed-wise, he was in the Olympics. He was an Olympic sprinter and everything. So I said that he was fast. He was an old player. Back when the Cowboys dynasty started with I don't remember. But let's move on to number 2. Oh.
You should do some research on the Cowboys one. Let me know what you find out. I think it was Terrence Newman, though. But let me know when you find out.
Yeah. So at number 2, I have the 49ers. And the reason I have them at number 2 is because they got Jerry Rice, arguably the GOAT. I personally think he's the GOAT. If you saw the last one, Bill Walsh, Joe Montana, and Steve Young. This is the only one where I actually have 2 quarterbacks. And we just said we were just talking about it. Joe Montana and Steve Young are great players.
You have a quarterback?
I have Joe Montana and Steve Young. Yeah. Those are because Joe Montana, he's also arguably you can put him in the GOAT conversation. Steve Young, maybe, because some people like I don't think I've heard anyone put him in the GOAT conversation, but you can definitely put him in the top 5 quarterbacks.
You could put Joe Montana in top 5. Yeah.
Steve Young, arguably. I wouldn't, but like you
Gotcha.
could.
Yeah, we're gonna have the same. I think we're gonna have the same 2 and 1. But for number 2, I have the 49ers as well. I mean, Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Steve Young, Ronnie Lott. I mean, Patrick Willis, Joe Staley.
Oh yeah.
5 is not even enough, man. So
yeah.
And another thing to note with the, I'll be honest with you, if someone had 49ers as their number 1, I honestly would not be mad. Reason being, I think Bill Walsh really, I think he revolutionized the West Coast offense. And I think the 49ers, that style of spreading it, 4 wide, 3 wide, revolutionized the NFL and how the game is played today.
Yeah.
So from an impact standpoint, they were one of the most impactful teams.
So at number 1, well, you said that we had the same number 1, but it's not because you already had this team here. And it's, oh, wait, you never said your number 2, actually. Oh,
I
no,
did.
wait. Sorry. It's also the 49ers, right?
Yep.
Oh, sorry. I got confused because
we have the same number 1. And if we don't, then it's going to be like, dude, you left this team out of your top, but we'll see.
I have the Bears.
Wow. That is interesting.
And the reason I was like, okay, so this list is like, I have like, I don't know why I put Devin Hester. I probably would have put Brian Urlacher. I just made this up on quickly. So it's George Halas, Mike Singletary. It says Devin Hester here, but I could replace that with almost any other player. And then Walter Payton. And the reason being is because, well, even Devin Hester, he revolutionized kick returning and made it like a big deal. There was not, I mean, Dante Hall, all those players, but like, there was never like a more electrifying player to watch on special teams than Devin Hester.
Dante Hall had a nice little run going, but it wasn't sustained like Devin Hester.
Yeah.
I mean, Devin Hester was. He returned a touchdown in the freaking Super Bowl, man. The second half with the Colts. Like, that's crazy, man.
Wasn't that the kickoff? Or was that the
Actually, it might have been the kickoff.
Yeah, it was the kickoff.
It was either the kickoff or to start the second half. Either way, it was one of the halves.
It was the kickoff because it was like, I remember like the commentators like going, so that's crazy that like the first play of the game was a touchdown.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. You'll never have another Devin Hester because of the rule changes. Now they did the wedge blocks. You can't do that. So
you won't have a Devin Hester, nor will you have another Pat McAfee, because Pat McAfee, like both the sides, like Pat McAfee was the greatest onside kicker we've seen in a long time, and Devin Hester was the best kick returner.
Yeah, I think personally the best onside kicker I've ever seen is probably Mike Vanderjagt. He used to play for the Colts.
Yeah, he was tall. He was like
this dude. He successfully 2 onside kicks against the Bucks on Monday Night Football game. That day will forever like still be the worst day as a Bucks fan, like ever. The Bucks were up by like 19 points, and, but it was Tony Dungy's birthday, so it's all good.
Yeah. Pat McAfee, like I think he had that one kick against the Texans that was like he just like rolled it across and then caught it himself. That was like the funniest kick ever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Speaking of kicks, well, let me ask you this: who do you think is the greatest kicker of all time?
Ooh, I actually don't even know. Like, there's a lot. There's like players like, some would say Vinatieri, but just because he did the most practically because he won the 2 Super Bowls for the Patriots. Then there's also the Saints kicker that played some time ago. Then there's also Morton Anderson, players like that. But it's very close.
And then you have Justin Tucker, the most accurate kicker of all time, statistically.
Yeah. So. Yeah, I mean Justin Tucker's there. I feel like he is in there, but I just don't think he's the greatest because his impact wasn't as much as Adam Vinatieri or even Mike Vanderjagt.
It just sucks because he's never been put in a position, right?
Yeah.
To be that impactful, whereas Vinatieri was. Well, I think Adam Vinatieri is a great segue because he's the only kicker in my list. And as you can guess, New England Patriots, the greatest team to ever play the game of football. Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Adam Vinatieri, and I'm missing. Who was my other player? Hold on, let me check my list real quick. Tom Brady. Oh, I guess Bill Belichick counts as one. Yeah, Tom Brady, Gronk, um, Adam Vinatieri, and Bill Belichick. And obviously, if you wanted to throw in, I guess Wells Walker in there somewhere, Moss or something. But I have to go with the greatest team, man.
Here's the only reason I don't have the Patriots in my list. And I also had like
That's
3 other
shocking.
teams that. Wait, what?
That's very shocking.
Yeah, the reason I don't is because their success was only this decade and maybe the last. The Bears have had were great in the 80s, and even like, they were great before the Patriots. Patriots, they were doing good, but they never actually won. Like they actually played the Bears, but they never won that Super Bowl. They
But if you're talking about, there's only one team. If you're talking about like sustained success and dynasty over like a 15-year period, really, you could make argument for the Bears, but the only other team that comes close is Pittsburgh, to be honest with you. Like to sustain that high level of dominance in like a 10 to 15 year period, man. It's the Patriots. That's a very good argument you make about the whole legacy and dominant across multiple eras. But when I look at a team like the Bears, when was the last time the Bears won the Super Bowl? Like in the late 70s,
Yeah.
So you see, even the 49ers, I might put them a little bit higher than the Bears. Although, because, Kaepernick went to the Super Bowl that one year, and then obviously last year. So Pittsburgh, they've actually won the Super Bowl in multiple. So, but
Pittsburgh is probably the best, maybe long term, like because they won like before like Roger Staubach in that days. Yeah. Then they also won like, and like they've had like the best legacy probably like sustained.
If you're talking about like pure legacy and like how how teams are romanticized and things of that nature,
Yeah.
to me, Pittsburgh, the Bears, Packers, Chiefs, like those teams, man, those are the teams that has that like really that sexy legacy. You don't really think of the Patriots. They're a little bit too modern, to your point, but obviously in 10, 15 years, we're going to truly see that what they did was freaking remarkable. So,
well, yeah, but like then another thing is like if we're talking about players, like Bears have also had great players throughout the ages, right? Name me a player that was great on the Patriots before Tom Brady, or it would be in your top or Mount Rushmore before Brady era.
There's not a lot. I mean, if you're looking at defense, they did have some very good defensive players. Okay, but the thing is, they didn't stay there that long. Richard Seymour, he wanted a massive contract after their second Super Bowl. Bill Belichick's like, we can't do that, bro. We're not going to sacrifice your contract for the team. So he walked. He ended up signing a massive contract with Oakland, I believe it was. You saw the same, like Bravo left, Bruschi left, Willie McGinnis left, Vince Wilfork, same situation. He went to Houston, man. Like Bill Belichick was consistent and never mortgaging the future of the Patriots and stuff like that. Like, yeah, they had some great players, but I have so much respect for Bill Belichick because his scheme and sort of like he cultivated those players to become what they were. Because a lot of those players, let's be honest, they weren't that highly, touted players coming out of college. I mean, Brady was what, a 6th round pick, something like that. So, I mean, that just goes to show, man, like the beauty of coaching. You look at Adam Gase, it shows you this dude is not a great coach, man.
Yeah.
You look at the difference in Tannehill, how he played in Miami and how he plays now. So, but to me, when it comes to coaching, there's 3 aspects of coaching, right? There's the X's and O's, which a lot of coaches can do. I think that might be the easiest part, right? And then there's cultivating talent. I think that part is very hard. A lot of coaches are not very good at that, man. And it's just not all coaches have that. So some of them, they just need to be a coordinator, man. Adam Gase is an offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
What's Matt Patricia? No offense, coordinator. So.
Yeah, I feel like the best like X and O player or coach was probably Bill Walsh, and then best like getting players and like training them was Bill Belichick probably.
Yeah, in terms of our era, X's and O's, I'm gonna give that to Well, I'll give you a list. Sean Payton, definitely up there. Brilliant,
Mhm.
man. Like, you want to talk about an offensive genius, brilliant. Although he has gotten predictable, but he had to because Drew Brees' arm is getting a little bit weak. Sean McVay, oh my gosh, man.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
the year that they went to the Super Bowl, some of the packages he had, it was crazy, man. So he's big time X's and O's, man. I would say those guys, they stand out the most. So it's crazy, man. Bruce Arians, people call him the quarterback whisperer and things of that nature. I actually think he's a little overrated, and he's my coach. He's a little overrated, man.
yeah.
So
He actually didn't trust Tom Brady whenever he came in.
yeah, and I did not like that. I did not like
Mhm.
how he criticized Tom Brady like that. And I get the whole thing about, okay, yeah, you're the GOAT, but I'm gonna treat you like everyone else. But some stuff, dude, keep it in house, bro.
Mhm.
Keep some of that stuff in house. And under Bruce Arians, first year quarterbacks, they usually throw. I saw a stat. It was crazy. Like under Bruce Arians' first year quarterbacks throw like 15 picks their first year. The one exception was Ben Roethlisberger, and that's when they had that disgusting defense.
Yeah.
Alamalu, James Harrison.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's actually 3 other teams that I had in here, but I just didn't put in because, yeah, like I'll explain it here in a second. But it's the Browns with Otto Graham, Jim Brown, Joe Thomas, and Paul Brown. The Bucks might all start Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, and Derek Brooks. Lions, Calvin Johnson, Nitrate Lane, Barry Sanders, and Bobby Lane. Those are the 3 teams I just had as honorable mentions. And the reason I didn't have them is because Browns, they never succeeded after they got rid of after the Otto Graham era. That team was great. Jim Brown, Otto
The
Graham.
Browns let's be honest, the Browns are the default laughing stock of the league. I hate to say it, man. It looks like it's starting to be the Jags, but for since I've been
Jaguars
watching,
surprised us.
it's
Jaguars
Browns,
surprised us
man.
against the Colts.
Yeah, they did. So, and yeah, they just haven't. And then the Bucks, I get that. I get your reason behind it. The only reason I would have the Bucks is because they've had more. Damn, I literally saw this on TikTok, man. Like the Bucks were on a list for like the most losses since 2017, something like
Yeah.
that. And just in general, they haven't sustained that level of success.
And another problem is the reason I didn't have the Bucks on my list is because remember whenever the Bucks started off, their record, they didn't lose. They didn't win a game until like their second season in the league. It was like a bad record. It was like terrible, and that's the only reason because they.
You know who they had as quarterback?
I forgot who. Oh wait, wasn't it like Doug Williams or something?
Young.
Oh yeah, Steve Young was there. Yeah, I literally saw that the other day. Steve
Young
Young.
was there. They let him go. Then Vinny Testaverde came. Stunk up the joint, and then he went over to New York.
Yep. I totally forgot. I saw that literally the other day. I was like, wait a minute. Yeah. I was like, they had Steve Young? And they had him, and then just.
I will say this though. I think a lot of people are quick to say, "Oh yeah, well the Bucks, they were terrible managers. How could you not see Steve Young?" Da, da, da. But the thing is, Steve Young owes a lot of his credit, not only because of the great players around him, but to Joe Montana. He had to sit back and watch Joe Montana for at least 2 seasons. To me, that's invaluable. Same thing for Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers and stuff. So that stuff is very. That's why I don't blame the Dolphins for letting Tua wait and watch Fitzpatrick. Granted, Fitzpatrick probably not the best example.
Yeah.
But then if Fitzpatrick was so good, you wouldn't even want to have Tua, right? Because they wouldn't be at number 1. So it's a catch-22.
Yeah. I feel like Andy Reid did that with Pat Mahomes with Alex Smith and Eli Manning with Daniel Jones and stuff like that. So I mean, it works out, but then there's sometimes where it just doesn't pan out the way they want it to.
But Andy Reid is. If you're talking about player development, in my opinion, Andy Reid is one of the best coaches.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he made Alex Smith look a lot better than Alex Smith actually is. No offense to Alex Smith. I love him. He's a really cool guy. He's one of my favorite players, his character and everything else. I hope he heals up down there in Washington. But, yeah. And he's a good X's and O's coach. Andy Reid is just a solid coach.
Yeah. If you saw, Tyreek Hill, that was one of his biggest, things. With Tyreek Hill, it was – because he had so many problems off the field. Tyreek Hill, he got arrested in college, and then he fixes up his act, and Andy Reid's kind of the part of that, is what I heard. And he's just a very good coach whenever it comes to players,
Yeah.
and helping them out. So yeah.
Man, he was very good. And he got to the Super Bowl once, but he never had enough talent. He had some talented defenses for sure. But on offense, he had some pretty good running backs. That was it. I remember one year, them cats, it was 3 running backs who they had Corey Buckholter, Brian Westbrook, and there was a third guy. Oh my gosh.
Brian Westbrook is one of the most underrated players.
Yeah.
Like, just because he did so much, like returning, catching out the backfield. He also had a 2,000-yard all-purpose season, actually, I think.
Yeah, he did. Well, Westbrook revolutionized the screen game, the running back screen game. And I know before him, Marshall Faulk did a lot of that too, and LaDainian Tomlinson. But to me, he revolutionized that, man. He was so good with the screen. He's one of the best screen backs I've ever seen. So he definitely impacted the game a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now, looking at the list, did you have any rebuttals or anything to what I said for my list?
I mean, man, it's a solid list, man. The only rebuttal I have, which we already went over, the Pats. I was a little surprised you didn't have the Pats. I try to spread out my list. A lot of it was old school. Like, your list is very nostalgic, you know what I mean? So for me, it was important to have the Patriots, even if it wasn't number one. It just so happened that they were number one for me. But I needed to have a team that sort of represented this era. But then again, you do have Pittsburgh, which I feel like they're pretty relevant. So not in the same tune as the Pats. But other than that, man, I'm glad you didn't put the Lions, bro. I'm glad you changed your mind. I would.
These the Lions. Problem is they
fit on that. You can't have any team on that went 0-16 at one point.
I would have put him because they had Calvin Johnson, probably one of the best receivers. Some say he is the best. They also had Barry Sanders, who I personally think is the best running back. And who else did I have in there? I had Night Train Lane, who's also one of the greatest cornerbacks. And Bobby Lane was a great quarterback whenever he was there. But they never made it past the first round in the playoffs. Part of that is because of And then some say it's like the Bobby Lane curse or whatever. Whenever he left, he said they're never going to win playoffs in 50 years. But really,
I hate to say it, but to some extent, some of that blame has to go to their quarterback too, man.
Yeah.
So he's at
who's there? Like, Matt Stafford was there, but like, who was their quarterback before Matt Stafford?
I don't remember. Ooh.
Oh, there was Dan Orlovsky.
Well, no. It was oh my gosh. He played for Notre Dame. He got drafted by Notre Dame. Was it Joey Harrington? Oh my God. I gotta look this up. Joey. Was it Joey Harrington? Yes, Joey Harrington. Joey Harrington. Massive bust.
Dang. That's career started in 2001. Oh yeah. Yeah, I remember he did not play that long.
No, he did not, bro. He did not play long. I mean, put it this way, Tom Brady's older than him, so that just lets you know. Yeah. Third overall.
Tough. Oh, whoa, okay. That is just not what you want to see.
I want to say, I'm pretty sure he's the one they went 0-16 with.
No, I think they went, or I think it may have been him, and I know Dan Orlovsky was there for a little bit.
Or it might have been him too, yeah.
Yeah. But that was just not a good quarterback.
It was a massive bust, man. Between him and Brady Quinn, two massive
busts. Yeah. And then Jamarcus Russell was also in there. Those are just good three.
I mean, DeMarcus Russell he's a poster child for a bust. Like, let's be honest. When you think of NFL bust, he's the first one that comes to mind. Because the hype with this guy was crazy.
Mm-hmm. He's probably like one of the biggest busts in sports history because if you think about NBA, you think about Markelle Fultz, who was just a couple years ago.
There's some big ones in Markelle Fultz, man. Kwame Brown, that was.
Oh yeah, Kwame.
Matter of fact, I got one bigger than Kwame. Oh my gosh, Brainford. He played for Detroit. Oh God, they Darko Milicic. They selected this dude. They selected him over Carmelo, over Wade, over Bosch. In the 2003, so he's probably one of the biggest. I know a lot of people say that Christian Laettner was a bust. I don't really agree with that. I just don't think he was nowhere near as good as they thought he would be. And obviously, you got Adam Morrison, So you got a couple busts, man.
Yeah.
Jeremy Fordette.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of busts that, like, But then, what's funny? Then there's people who are like, if I was a GM, I would have selected, like, LeBron James or whatever. But, like, I'm like, would you have really, though? Because if you're in that position, there's a reason they went that high. Like, if you look at Jamarcus Russell's LSU highlights, he looked fantastic. He looked like he was
Jamarcus Russell, he could be on his knees, bro. And they have this, like, you could look it up, throwing a 50-yard bomb on his knees. But do you know how hard that is? Like,
yeah.
And obviously, I'm no great athlete or anything like that. But if I throw the ball 60 yards, that's literally probably my limit, bro. And I have to put everything into that thing. Mm-hmm. He was throwing the ball 50 yards on his knees, like.
Yeah, he was. But problem is with Jamarcus Russell, it was Oakland, like the team, like it was not even with a great quarterback, it wasn't going anywhere. And then his health, like he did not take care of his body. He was like 300 pounds at one point.
Yeah.
And then he went to San Diego and then had to do so much with it.
But again, I mean, he looked good at LSU, but the thing is they had a great O-line in LSU, and you didn't have to read defenses like that. It was complex. Yeah. That's the same thing. I remember Manziel, like when he was, I'm like, I told everybody, bro, like, I'm like, what are the Browns doing? And so a lot of times, man, these scouts in the NFL, they fall in love with athleticism and speed and all that other stuff, man. So, like, if I don't know, man. I guess I see some of it, but there's a reason why Jerry Jeudy, Bama, there's a reason why he wasn't selected as the first receiver. They picked CeeDee Lamb over him simply because CeeDee's size. That's it. Jerry Jeudy runs better routes than him. He has better hands than him. All that stuff. But so to each his own, I guess. Same thing with Ruggs. I'm pretty sure Henry Ruggs was selected.
He's just fast. Yeah, he was the first receiver taken. He was just fast. But
he's not the greatest route runner, though. Yeah. I don't know if you saw the Raiders game. He's not the greatest route runner.
Yeah, he's not. He's not doing much right now.
Verticals and streaks and stuff like that. But
right now, CeeDee Lamb's doing the best, I think.
What'd you say?
And then I think CeeDee Lamb's doing the best right now out of him.
I mean, CeeDee Lamb's getting a lot more targets than I thought. Not so much catches, but targets. They are throwing his way.
I wonder who said that. Remember who said that? I forgot.
It was this guy named OJKnows.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, yeah. Then the Eagles took Jalen Reagor also just because he's fast. And the one problem whenever I saw even his highlights, it was funny because I was watching his highlights, right? And every single play he's dropping the ball. I'm like, you really trust this guy as your punt returner? And then in the first game, what does he do? He just drops a punt and it's get recovery.
Fall in love with it, man. Same with OJ Howard. I mean, as a Bucs guy, he does not have the best hands. And I knew that even from Alabama. But that dude is freakishly athletic for a tight end. Man.
Yeah, he's doing good now. Rob Gronkowski has not got any targets. I don't think he had a reception last game. So
and that has nothing to do with Rob. It has more to do with the scheme that Bruce Arians. And it's not a really good – and obviously I'm not going to try to act like I'm a better coach than him, but Bruce Arians is trying to force the ball down the field. That's not Tom Brady's strength. Every now and then you can do that, but he's not going to sit and throw bombs all the time. Yeah. Tom Brady's strength is he clinically takes you apart, man. I'm like 8-yard drive, 7 minutes, that's his strength. Like leave that to Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. 4 plays, 2-minute drive,
Yeah. So – I think that's about all that I have to say. If you wanted to add on anything, go ahead.
No, that's basically it. And let me know when your friend wants to come on because you said that your buddy doesn't like some of my takes. And when it comes to
So, I was talking to him, right? And he's like, yo, OJKnows. I don't know what he's talking about. He doesn't know anything about it. I need to get him. And then he also has a podcast. Y'all know him, Big Body Dave. If you watch my YouTube video, he was actually the cameraman. Gosh, I had to tell that guy don't worry about that.
Let him know. Deliver a message to him for me. I want all the smoke. I'll do it on your podcast, his podcast. It's easy for me. Want to know why?
Why is that?
OJKnows.
Plain and simple. I like that. Okay. But yeah. So we'll be doing that. There was that other guy that I tried to get on. I just don't know what happened with that. But that debate, I'm trying to get one set up with you and OG the Beast.
Oh my goodness! Hey, me and OG. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll do with him. But I would love to debate the guy. By the way, and I know I gotta get going real quick. But even though I have the Ravens, even though I have the Ravens winning, obviously it could go either way, right? I mean, the Chiefs
Hmm.
are the Chiefs. If the Chiefs beat the Ravens, man, I'm gonna make a video about it and tag literally every single loss the Ravens have, or
Hmm.
if Jackson has a bad game, I'm gonna tag him or whatever, man. So I want this smoke.
He
So,
made a TikTok and he was like, he kept on duetting it. Like, if your team's undefeated, and he just kept dancing. I was like, it's 2 games. But yeah,
oh, he did.
yeah, he did.
Glad you told me that, man, because I need to go find it and duet it. If they lose, man, I'll be dancing too, and I'll tag on there.
Yeah. So that's gonna do it here, guys. If you liked it, go or then share, follow, do all that. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe. That would really help me out. Give me a like. And OJ, do you want to sign us off?
Oh, well, thanks for having me on. And by the way, if you're listening and you disagree with my opinions, I'll be glad to come on here. It doesn't matter who you are, whether you're young, old, you're a novice, expert, whatever. I'll be more than happy to debate you because I want all the smoke.
Hmm.
OJKnows.
On TikTok, go check him out. So, and I'll see you guys next time.
All right,
Goodbye.
thanks for having me. Take it easy, man.
Yeah, thanks for coming on again.